I'm Ryan Milton from Team Flex, and today we're going to look at an NPC Natural Bikini class, and we're going to go over the placings, why they landed the way they did, and what it means for you as a bikini competitor out there trying to do your best on stage. That's exactly what we do on this channel. So if you're new here, you like it, any point in time, hit that subscribe button, hang out with me, and if you are a subscriber, you've been here for a while, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching so much. All right, let's get down to it. So this is the NPC Natural Battle of the Titans. This is a bikini class C from this event, and it contains the overall bikini champion winner, who is right here in the center, Sherry. Okay, so Sherry also competed in Masters 35. She also went on to win the overall. So again, it's one of those things that I hear all the time from Masters competitors, is they're worried about having to compete in the open category. They're worried that they're not going to be able to, place as high. They're worried that they aren't going to, be able to stand up against younger athletes, so to speak, right? Well, this is, again, a recent turn of many competitions where somebody competing in the Masters categories actually won the overall. So for all of you ladies out there in those groups, whether it be 35, 40, 45, even higher, don't hold yourself back from competing just because of an age tier, okay? You can be very, very competitive and do a lot. And the overall winner here wins the entire show. That means up against every other class winner at this event. Sherry, being in this lineup, has won the whole thing. So very, very cool. Over here, we have Madeline. She took second in this class. And then over here, we have Amanda. She took third in this class. So let's go over these athletes, a little bit about the physiques, a little bit about the criteria, and why the placings may have landed the way they did, and how you can apply that to do better on stage. That's the goal. So bikini, as we know, all about the hourglass shape, okay? You need to find a way to create the most hourglass physique that you can, which means the shoulders taper into the waist, comes back out, lower body creates the hourglass look. We'll see all three of these athletes very much so have this look in a little bit of a different way, right? We'll talk a little bit about that, but overall, you're going to see bikini competitors that are coming in on point are going to have the hourglass. So that is your framework as a bikini competitor. You have to know where's that hourglass, how you getting that hourglass. You training right, you doing the right things. Well, you got to start focusing on, for sure, shoulders. So Sherry, she's got very developed shoulders here at this point. They're full, they're rounded. This is exactly where you want to see for bikini division. Not lacking in the upper body, not overdone, but shows the size, shows the fullness, shows the muscle. So she has that very well. Bicep and tricep here do match very nicely with that, which is good for bikini. You want to make sure you have those muscle groups in play as well. Not to the point where they'd overpower, but definitely also don't want to look like you don't lift anything to do with the arms, right? So she's in the right balance. That's the perfect kind of look for the upper body, and it creates our first, bit of this width of the upper top of that hourglass shape. And that is your first starting point. You want to make sure you're training those shoulders, bringing them out. Next point of note is going to be your waist, right? So Sherry, she's got a very narrow waist. This overall brings in this V taper. This starts the base. The more dramatic of a waist narrowing you can get with a shoulders widening, that's going to be better for you. That's going to be an advantage for you on stage. So definitely something you want to focus on. Make sure you keep the waist in check. A lot of that comes in with dieting. There's also specific exercise, though, that you can do to really improve that. And that will help you overall, too, especially if you can build a wicked upper body at the same time. Looking lower body now, what we should see is perfect symmetry. So we want to see the glutes, the quads, and the hamstrings all kind of tie in, come together, and match with the upper body. And that is what we see on Sherry here. She has the glute development. You can see the upper glute development. This is a huge marker for judges, always looking for that. And her lower body muscles match together, right? Like, meaning the quads don't overpower the glutes don't overpower the quads, hamstrings don't, everything is in good symmetry. It's in good proportion and shape. And that's how this is a rock solid, front pose look for her that wins in overall. Conditioning wise, right on par with conditioning, where you should see some soft lines in the glutes, the quads, the abdominals here, maybe a little bit of separation up top, not hard lines, not deep cuts, not striations, and also not holding extra body fat to the point where, it's visible enough. That will score you down as well. She's got a, overall just very front pose and nailed look. We'll see how the back looks when we get there in a minute. Looking over here, we have Madeline. So Madeline takes second in this class. She's got all the same markers, good shoulder shape overall, arm development you can see, very narrow waist comes in, and then she's got the lower body shape, glute development, quads, hamstrings, everything is all there. What I'm seeing is a little bit different on her physique versus Sherry is a little bit less of that shoulder development, right? So not as much into the upper body development here. Lower body shape is all there. Everything else is there. It's just maybe the factor of a little bit more development would have made her just a tad more symmetrical. Her lower body does look to be a little bit dominant here, at least in this shot, compared to the upper. So that is a factor you always want to be aware of, kind of balancing out your physique overall. And that is going to, again, be further echoed when you have a very symmetrical group of athletes. Those things become more apparent in the lineup. But overall, very great representation of the criteria. Very good bikini quality physique, something you should be paying attention to at any level. And it looks like she also did true novice. So props to her for doing very, very well at this competition overall. And then looking over here now at Amanda. So Amanda, overall, we see the good shoulder shape. Everything's there, ties into a narrow waist, lower body brings out. For her, it looks like it would, again, be sort of similar where she's just not in the upper body as much as the other two athletes above her, even especially Sherry, who wins this class, but also even, less so than Madeline here. So I would say just a little bit more upper body muscle. Don't sleep on that fullness. That's what the athletes got to be paying attention to out there. All of these athletes have a very good shape, very good look, though, overall for the bikini division, and what you would want to see in conditioning really is very, very on point for all of them. So let's take a look now at the back, because this is where often we get to see the full story. It kind of all ties together a little bit more. And this is, again, where we are looking at now our overall champion. So for her, good symmetry from the back. You can see the shoulders, it tapers in well. Everything is there. Really where she's taking the show at this point is going to be in the glutes and the lower body. So very developed upper glute that shows that roundness, that fullness. Judges are going to look for that. The tie-in to show that separation between the glutes and the ham, tie-in, if you will. That comes from a combination of building muscle, but also being at the right level of conditioning. She nails this really, really well, where she still shows that fullness and also just brings through the conditioning. And then the legs that do not distract from the glutes in this lineup. Very, very good. So overall, just brings it through. And that is, again, an overall winning physique, no doubt. And then looking over here at Madeline, we can see this is where the shoulders are here, but not as much. So again, I think that's the main thing for her, just a little bit more shoulder development to balance out with the lower body. However, her lower body is pretty on par, maybe a tad more upper glute or overall glute. Her quads do appear to be a little bit dominant from the back here. Not too bad, but again, that's a factor that when you're talking about being in the lineup, getting first, getting an overall, all things you want to be aware of. When we look over here at Amanda, we can see overall, everything is there. The shape is there. Shoulders taper in. Lower body, her glutes appear to be a little bit less full, a little bit less, dominant at that point, less developed. So maybe adding a little bit more size or just changing how the peak was done to kind of fill out the physique a little bit more. But overall, good shape, good symmetry. Upper body clearly is, needing a little bit more size there, I think, to continue to advance in the class. Now we will bring in our fourth and our fifth from this lineup up against Sherry here to show you again, because the criteria gets a little bit more obvious at this point. And if you like what I'm doing here, you guys, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share the video with somebody if you know anybody who competes and you're like, look at this crazy guy breaking down, classes and trying to teach us stuff for no reason. go do it, because it helps me out a lot, and that's what I like. That's why I do this. So we have Norma here. She took fourth in this class, and then we have Ariel over here taking fifth in this class. So this is, again, our fourth and our fifth. This is where we see a lot of similarities, but also some clearer differences, I think, becoming. So looking at Norma overall, what we can see is good shape in the shoulders. Everything's here, tapers into the waist nicely, comes back down into the lower body. Overall, what I can see here is I think her shoulders need a little bit more size, a little bit more fullness to them in general, and her lower body, her glutes appear to be just a tad behind her quads and her hamstrings at this point, right? So that's one of those areas where those, your glute can kind of overtake the shot. Your quad can overtake your glutes in that sense, basically, and that can become an issue, because if it's too dominant looking, then you're not looking as symmetrical, not bringing as good of an hourglass. But overall, very great physique, very good representation of criteria overall. Looking over here at Ariel, what we can see, good shoulder shape. Everything tapers in nicely, comes in here. And overall, this front pose is a very solid shot for her. Maybe needs a little bit more glute muscle overall, maybe a tad bit more in the quads and the hamstrings as well. But I think with both of these ladies, when we get to the back, it's probably where we see the full story, as I always say. So here we go. Looking at, again, Norma now, right? We can see the good shoulder shape. Everything is here. Maybe just a tad more of the delts would help. And then also just kind of bringing in the lower body a bit, because it is also, you know, that size difference between the quads to the glute ratio, but also considerably a little bit softer here from the back. So not seeing as much condition-wise from Norma in this lineup as we do as some of the athletes above. So conditioning may be a factor, but again, very great physique, awesome job, and represents criteria very well. I'm just simply trying to break it down for you guys, help you understand the placings more so you can get a better idea of how you need to be bringing into your competition. Looking at Ariel now, so Ariel needs a little bit more of that development from the back here overall. Tapers in the waist good. Her glutes are in a good position for sure. Good upper glute shape overall. Glute shape, maybe just a tad more from the legs at this point. Her glutes do appear to be a little bit dominant, and that can be a factor, right? So for her, great quality physique overall in that lineup. Maybe just a little bit of reshaping, rebalancing the muscle. It would be an advantage to her. But great job to all these ladies in this lineup. I just hopefully gave you guys an example of here's the overall winner, here's that class, here's, you know, what's placing higher, here's what isn't per se, and improvements you can hopefully make, right? So you can go out there and bring your best physique. That's my goal. That's what I hope all of you watching are learning. And yeah, if you have any other competitions you want me to cover, you want me to cover yours, you want me to break down more bikini or more figure, more wellness, whatever, comment down below and I'll be happy to do so. All right, thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.